Morning, guys. Crypto's coming off a little bit here. An update when we look at the daily, I talked about yesterday that there's higher probability with this cycle being high. Again, this is a daily chart that we could roll back towards 6,200 and maybe 6,000, 5,800 zone. So this is sixth day on this current cycle. Nothing that significant other than that we kind of made a turn here 4 days up. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8. You may have 2 more days down into the support area. But I think this is actually an opportunity to add to some alts. I want to look at them in a second. The reason being is that we had Bitcoin still stuck making these little feeble, weak lower highs inside of this weekly downtrend, inside this monthly downtrend. The longer term trend of lower highs, right? We're consolidating. But if you look at some of the alts, the way they came off the bottom was a much stronger move than this move off of 6,700. So buying into it creates a little bit different wall, is what I'm trying to say. The alts have a little bit of a different wall. We'll look at it in a second. So I still think it's troublesome. You have to be cautious here with this cycle being high this week. That was my concern, and already started to see. So yeah, I would say now we did create a pivot here as we move up. This isn't a major pivot because you still have 7,200, which shows up more on the weekly. But this is going to be an intermediate term pivot now, 6820. See it on the 4 hour probably a little bit more clearly. All right, our 4 hour cycle is low, which might be an opportunity on some of the alts actually. Got some cash. Cycle's low, RSI is coming down. We basically kind of stalled out near pi, so we haven't been able to get in the northern hemisphere, not able to get price above our pi line. Really haven't been able to gain any traction above the 200 either. Both of these averages are flat to down, showing you that we just don't have any, not even any intermediate term upside momentum. This is more indicative of a kind of sideways range trade. We kind of couldn't get above the bands, back below the bands. Above the bands. Now we're back below the bands. So this is trading more like a boiling market that's in a tight little intermediate term range trade is how I would categorize it. Good volume on this down move. Kind of started last night. Look at futures also. Trading the euro on the long side a little bit this morning. So 557, 12. Copy. Above the bands, below the bands, above the bands, below the bands. Chopping both sides of the 200. We're chopping both sides of pi. It's just very indicative of intermediate term range trade. So I actually sold, I think maybe one futures contract up here at 6,700 just to hedge myself a little bit because I actually wanted the pullback to get. I have some cash to put to work on maybe some of the majors and the alts. So I'm going to cover this, guys. If you sold anything well, if you came out of some, great sales. If you're on the long side, if you're a little bit short, this is where we cover, and then actually look to get long again and put some more cash to work on the next push down. So whether that's 6,200, 6,100, just like last time when we flushed down here and the buyers came right back, anywhere on this kind of how the R size are low. So I think you want to think long in the zone. All right, look at all these little, if you were long down here, right? All of these are good spots to buy here. Right, so don't freak out just because you take out a low here. This is a zone, right? Like a chain link fence we bump up against. So I'm going to actually cover futures and then give me another push. Don't have to pile in right here. Maybe we take advantage of some alts, but give me another push down and then I'm going to play the long side. All right. Now, Ether, got to jump on with our live trading group here, guys, and go quick. Ether, now this was what we talked about. Here's the wall up. Now you're getting the pullback if you missed it to buy. I like this here in front of 200. I'm gonna signal some buys here this morning. We're gonna talk about it in our live room. I'm gonna buy here, and then I'm gonna buy into this 170 zone. Risk below 170, like that. Especially if you fall in a straight line from here, it's gonna be hard not to get a nice. Ether looks good. Maybe I'll hold off on Litecoin. Focus on this 4 hours low on Litecoin. Also, there's a good chance maybe we get a higher low here in front of 54.52. Coin Cash, probably very similar, back near the lows. Buy that. Couldn't get above the 200 there, intermediate term. Not exactly our go-to coin. All right, so here's Cardano. Look at the wall, guys, off of 6 cents up to 9. Now you're getting a pullback in what we call the gift zone. So 4 hours low. I'm adding right as soon as I finish recording this. It's gonna be very similar. Neo is another one. BNB. There's just some opportunities to buy here, guys. We know the risk. I mean, Neo got a little bit lower. That's kind of tough because you got these 3 lows. If you break that, then you have the support right behind it. I think that's a zone 15, 16, 14. Maybe you're a little bit more patient. Amisego looks similar. Got solved up on. Yeah, that's one I've kind of haven't really played with. I'd rather take advantage of like Cardano down here. Monero has been one of the stronger coins. Getting a pullback here also. I like this. EuroX. Failed right at Pi. I think we talked about that. Failed right at Pi. Right at the bands is a great place to add back. Adding and reducing should have been taking at Pi. Add some back. Kind of curious what that Ripple chart looks like. Failed at Pi. Then you get your retracement. I mean, if you're looking for this move to continue, which I'm not, kind of thinking it's a one-off pump. But this is like if this was a Euro chart, I'd be buying into this wall here. You didn't want to be chasing this, taking here at Pi, and now you'd be buying on the pullback. You're halfway. Not saying that's what I want to do. Much better. When we did that video the other day, Ripple, this is where you want to be adding back. That was Friday. Finance. That daily cycle is high on Binance. I like the 4 hour. So this is a 4 hour buying opportunity. And you know where your risk is below these lows a couple of weeks ago. You might still get one more push down with the daily, just like we said in BTC, you might get one more push. So I'm going to add on some stuff here, and then I'm going to add again on the next push. And we'll take some risk and see if we hold these lows. All right, guys, hope that helps. I'll try to keep you updated.